Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Syarizal Fitri bin Muhammad Fazli, and my group members is Zariatul Asha binti Bakhtiar, Adam Afnan bin Abdullah, and Ahmad Zaim bin Fazuri. So today in this slide, I and all my group members will explain about the program design variable. So now I will explain about the repetition. So what is repetition in when you're doing exercise? So repetition is one entire exercise movement that you do when you doing the exercise. For example, if you do squat, if the position of starting, you stand and then you down and then you going up to your starting position, so that is called one repetition. So if you do two movement, like I said before, you down and you up to your starting position, and then you down and then you up to your starting position, so that is called two repetition of the exercise. So if you want to increase your endurance, you should do 12 to 15 reps with a modest load. For hypertrophy, you should do 8 to 10 repetition of a modest load, and for strengthening, you should do 3 to 5 repetition of heavy load. So for the next slide, I will pass to my group members. Alright, so back to me. I will explain about the intensity when you're doing a training or exercise. So the intensity of each training session refer to how difficult it will be. So the sort of training utilized affect the intensity measurement. So you can use your heart rate or your 1 RM to determine your intensity. So for 1 RM, 1 RM is referred to the highest weight you can lift in one repetition. So for example, if you want to do 75% of intensity, and your 1 RM is about 70 kilogram, you should multiply 70 kilogram by 0.75 to get the 75% of your intensity. So but by measure intensity by heart rate, intensity of training can be measured by percent of your maximum heart rate. So to get your maximum heart rate, 220 minus by your age. So if your age is 20, you should minus 220 minus 20 and get 200. So the 200 is your maximum heart rate. So for training the aerobic system, the target heart rate is around 70 to 85% of your maximum heart rate. So for training the anaerobic system, the target heart rate is around 85% to 100% of your maximum heart rate. So I will pass to my friend to present the next slide.
So I will continue the presentation for the frequency and velocity. So for the frequency is refer to how often you exercise. The point is to meet your goals without overtraining the body. So frequency is one of the program design variables. Training frequency in exercise program design refers to the number of training sessions completed within a specific period. So for the cardio workout, the minimum workout is 3 times per week. If you want to lose weight, the number will increase to 5 or 6 per week. For the strength training is recommended to do some sort of strength training 3 to 4 times per week. For the strength training can involve the use of weight resistant barbells or machines. So I will continue to velocity. Velocity in generally is defined to the rate of change of position of an objective with respect to the time. So velocity in sport is how quickly a body has moved in resultant direction. Velocity is to provide the coach and athletes with information regarding their exercise performance and allows the coach to provide very specific feedback to the athletes. For the example is a cyclist travels north up at hills on a long and twisty path. In total, the cyclist has traveled 11,000 meters in 42 minutes. The cyclist displacement is only 5,060 meters. So the calculate for the velocity is 1.33 meter per second.
Hi, my name is Adafnan. Today I will continue the presentation about tempo. Tempo training is all about moving slowly and under control instead of the moving through your rep. You will breaking each movement down into the fundamental such as eccentric portion, a concentric portion, and two isometric portion. Each portion of the lift is assigned its own number, corresponding how many seconds that part of the lift you will take. The first pace is eccentric pace or lowering. The first number is in the case it is the number 2, which is referred to concentric pace of the movement. It also known as a lowering pace. So for our squat, this is the part where you squat down, referring to our tempo sequence. It should take 2 count to reach the bottom position. And number 2 is isometric pace 1, or pause at the eccentric pace. The next number is the length of the pause at the eccentric pace, which is when you reach the bottom position, it tells you how many seconds you should hold at this bottom stand. In our example, we should hold it for another 2 count. For the number 3 is concentric pace or lifting. The lifting part is the neck, and this is our concentric pace. This is the third number in tempo sequence. You need to take many count as stipulated to move from the pause at the bottom position and back up to the standing position in the squat. The third number sequence is 0, which means that you should make this pace as explosive and fast as possible. And number 4 is isometric pace 2, pause at the top of the lift. The final number is the pause at the top of the lift. This is when you are back in your starting position and refer how long you should wait until you begin the next rep. The final number of tempo squat is another 0. This means that when you reach at the top, you will take another brace and head down into your next rep. Next is the benefit of tempo. The first one is teach control. Tempo training essentially teach you to slow down the movement and maintain control throughout the entire time. It means that you cannot speed through and rush through your rep just to get them finished. It also means that you are forced to completely rely on your strength and power to get through your exercise as opposed to momentum. For example, in the bench press, it's common to see people bouncing the barbell off their chest, using it to drive bar up. Number 2 is build better understanding of movement position. Tempo training will allow you to move consciously and be aware of each and every part of the movement. While moving fluidly through the exercise, it is important and should be your end goal. Being able to slow down your rep and understand where everything is positioned during the pace of the exercise is just as important. And number 3 is address positional weakness. There will be part of exercise that people do better than other, and this varies from person to person. For example, for when it comes to the deadlift, some people may find it more difficult to lifting the bar off the ground, while others can do easily but struggle to lock it out. Tempo training is work well in addressing the positional weakness. It forces you to slow down and break down the movement so you can work on this specific sticking point. And the last one is reduce risk of injury. As you improve your quality of movement with tempo training, your risk of injury will be reduced. You will be lifting with better control, a better understanding of the mechanic of the exercise, and with the better technique. The slower movement will force you to really look at the weight you can lift without compressing on by utilize the proper muscle, which will help you in the long time run. The first number is referred to the lowering eccentric pace of the lift. Using our front squat example, the 3 will represent the amount of time that should take to descend to the bottom of the squat. The second number is referred to amount of time you spend in the bottom position of the lift, the point which is the lifting transition from lowering to ascending. The third number is referred to ascending, which means concentric pace of the lift, the amount of time it takes to get you at the top of the lift. And the last one is the fourth number, refer how long you should pause at the top of the lift. Next is density. Density training work to increase the density of the workout you do. Density in the training term is a combination of the volume and the duration of your workout. The volume is the total workload you take on during the workout session. You can basically think of it a number of the set you do multiplied by the number of reps you do in each set. The duration of your workout is how long the workout session lasts. How to implement the density training? There are two ways to add the density training into your workout routine. The first one is keep your workout volume at the same but shorten the duration of the workout. So instead of doing 10 repetitions of chest press in the 15 minutes, you shorten that to 10 minutes. You can do this by shortening the time between reps or increasing the training speed. The second method is to keep the duration of the workout the same but increasing the number of the reps you do in the set. So instead of doing 10 reps of chest press in the 50 minutes, you increase your volume to 15 reps of chest press for total of 150 repetitions. You would have to shorten the time between the reps or increase your training speed. Next is the benefit of density. The first one is burning calorie. When you start training faster and resting less, you will start to burn fat and calorie. This will make your learner and stronger all the time, all at the same time. Next is the gaining muscle structure. As you start doing more, your muscles are going to respond and they will build up faster and at your learned appearance. Next is enhance your workout capacity by adding more exercise in the shorter amount will build your endurance. This will make it possible to do even the same amount of the training time. Okay, next is the option of the density training. The first one is body circuit. Body circuit are smart way to create a little biochemistry flux and help the athlete with the dark matter drain of long session, but they will not going to improve the absolute qualities. Next is accumulation block. During the early heavily training, athletes simply need more work on the way to get them in the game to multiply the density instead of just adding more volume and dropping intensity, so more total work will get done. Next is potential option. To focus on the pure and absolute option like maximum strength or endurance rather than move to early to less impact element that can dilute the quality. Potential work to time efficient, but it also take a lot of time to recover because the training is higher than normal output in the strength qualities. The last one is peaking workout. When the athlete hit the ceiling, one of the elements that might be some successful that coach use is just to reducing rest between hard bout of speed or power work. The reason for cutting rest between bout during the peaking phase is that density will increase the relative demand of the session while maintaining absolute intensity. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Zaim, and thank you to my friends. So we're moving on to the next slide, which is training method. So there is 8 training methods of training. So the first one is interval training. So interval training is involve periods of exercise followed by period of resting time. So there are two types of interval training. The first one is short interval training and the last one is long interval training. Interval training is suited to various kind of group. The first one is individual who working on their own, or a small group of people, or a larger member such as a team. So in the interval training, the time of rest is there to allow the performers or the athlete to regain energy so that they do not becoming too tired to carry on the exercise. So the time of exercise are repeated, which form a repetition. So around 4 or 5 repetition will make up a set. So there may be 4 or 5 sets in a session of interval training. So the second one is continuous training. Continuous training is exercising without rest interval, and there are also two types of continuous training. The first is long and slow distance training, and the second one is high intensity and continuous training. So this training works the body aerobically and keeps the pulse at a moderate to high rate. Its effect is to improve the cardiovascular and respiratory system. So after a gradual warm up, the person training works their body at a moderate level throughout the session. So basically in the continuous training, the heart rate is above 60% of its maximum but below 80%. By keeping in this zone, the work is aerobic and can be carried on for a long time. So continuous training suits those who new to training or those who are recovering for injury. So to the next one is circuit training. So moving to the next one is circuit training. Circuit training is a series of exercises completed for a certain amount of time one after another. So in circuit training, we'll be developing aerobic and anaerobic respiration and different muscle group consecutively. So in circuit training, the exercise may be carried out for a length of time, for example 30 seconds or a set number of time. In the circuit training, when using the large muscle group at each station, aerobic respiration is in operation, and this will develop the cardiovascular system. For example, if exercising small muscle group in turn, such as the bicep and tricep, this is anaerobic, which build strength. So for this circuit training, there is a set time for each activity, usually between 30 to 60 seconds. In this time, as many repetitions of the activity are performed as possible. So when all exercise at each station have been completed, the circuit session will finish. So by repeating the circuit or adding some more exercises, the session increase in intensity. For general fitness, the sequence of exercises works the different muscle group at each station. So into the next one is weight training. Weight training is involved in shifting weight to increase the strength of muscle using a program of repetition and set. So there are two types of weight training. The first one is machine weight and the second one is free weight. So generally, before deciding on amount of weight and which weight training method is suitable for them, the performer or athlete will need to know what they want to achieve. So in this training method, they will need to know if they want to achieve aerobic, which is also known as endurance, or anaerobic, which is targeting on strength development. So into the first type is machine weight. So machine weight are technically designed to move in the correct way and are adjustable for different size of user. By using the machine weight training, they are safe as they are steady and do not vary position apart from the design range. This also has the effect of not training the stabilizing muscle that may be needed for a sport. Compared to the free weight training, it can be used in the weight training program. So the use of free weight training program is specialized and needed lot of training so that the performer work safely. So in free weight training, a person or the athlete who train with heavy weight must always use a spotter. A spotter is a person who help to steady the performer and is ready to catch the bar or assist if the athlete or the performer is struggling. So there is some benefit from involving in free weight training, such as you can add more weight easily to the training, and also free training provide more wider range of exercise than the machine, and it also helps you to develop explosive strength. So moving to the next slide is for the method of training is fartlek training. Fartlek training involves period of work followed by the period of rest. So fartlek is a Swedish word meaning speed play. So in fartlek training, due to the changes of intensity of the exercises, fartlek training work on both aerobic and anaerobic fitness. So the athlete then become increasingly capable of meeting the changes of pace in a competition or games. So the session in fartlek training can be continuous with period of intense work followed by the rest periods or less strenuous exercise or less strenuous exercise easier work, which give the body a chance to recover. So the next one is flexibility training. So the flexibility training is to aim to increase the range of movement allowed at a joint or a series of joints. So flexible training improve performance in the majority of sport and help the athlete to avoid injury. So in this method of training, the flexibility is improved by stretching the muscle and tendon to a point marginally beyond their own limit. The next one is cross training. Cross training is combining different methods of training and it's adaptable to a variety of situations. So each activity in this cross training improve different muscle groups, giving a wide range of development for the body. So the last one is plyometric training. Plyometric itself means a type of exercise training that use speed and force of different movement to build muscle power. So plyometric training can improve your physical performance and ability to do different activities. Here I provide the example of fartlek training. This is a typical 30-minute fartlek training session. And the next one is the example of circuit training. So as you can see in the figure, circuit training is a good way to organize your muscle training. So a circuit training usually has 8 to 15 stations. You do a different exercise at each time or each station. So this is the typical weight circuit, body weight circuit. That's all for me. Thank you very much.